Okay, so today we are going to look at a data set gathered from Twitter, and this is to do with the Nike hashtag. And so, and we're using a program called Tableau to make sense of this data and to understand what happened for the brand in May. So we had just over 83,000 tweets attached to this data set, as we can see here. And when we move on to the next worksheet, we can see the number of likes compared to replies and retweets. So this gives us a good starting point to look at the engagement that's occurring within the data set. The number of replies were not very successful, so they were less than 6% of the number of likes collected, coming in at 37,000 compared to just over 650,000. And the number of retweets achieved was far more successful, with 27% of the tweets being retweeted, still quite low. And then the next worksheet gives us some insight into video engagement within the data set. So we can see that tweets containing videos contain many more likes on average. So we can see down below there, no videos had an average of 7 likes, and if it had a video, then it had an average of 58 likes. So that's quite a significant difference. And also just to add in the retweet stats for this, so without a video, there was an average of 2 retweets, and with the video there was an average of 15 retweets. So videos are incredibly valuable on the data set. And just to wrap up on those engagement bits, when we were looking at the different representation of original tweets, mentions and retweets, we can see that across May, the number of tweets was the highest and retweets was the lowest. So the mentions, which were otherwise quite low, then they experienced a spike of activity on the 11th of May, which coincided with the launch of the Travis Scott sneakers. So moving on to the top performing tweets measured by the number of likes. And we can see here, again, there's a strong correlation between the use of videos and how well the tweets are going to do in terms of likes. So a quick analysis of this shows that the most likes were collected by original posts. The top 3 were original branded tweets by Nike that were inspirational quotes. So the top one gathered nearly 40,000 likes. The second highest performing tweet by likes reached almost 19,400 likes. And the third highest performing gathered almost 19,000 likes. The next one came in at nearly 17,000, and that was a general post from a retailer. And then we go into some of our more of our sponsors. So people were working within sponsorships. So we had a particularly successful tweet mentioning Nike sponsor Olympic runner Caster Semenya, and that came at nearly 11,300 likes. And then we actually had a few tweets of American baseball player Clint Frazier wearing the Travis limited edition Nikes. So the 10th most best performing tweet contained an image of Clint wearing the Travis limited edition shoes, and that came in at just over 4,200 likes. So with this functionality in Tableau, we can start to see what's happening at different days. So we have the first 2 weeks of May here that we're looking at, and we're looking at spikes of activity. So, you know, there was a bit of a dip here on the 4th of May, but then we reach an all-time high on the 11th of May, which we will go a bit further into in a minute. Okay. And here is similar, but we're looking at it by the hour. So, you know, as just mentioned, the highest spike of tweet activity between the 1st and 14th of May occurred on the 11th. And on the 11th of May, mentions of Nike peaked with 9,870 tweets. The activity started to increase at about 1 p.m. It peaked at 2 p.m. and then it didn't drop back down to an average level of activity until about 5 p.m. So this flurry of tweet activity coincided with a special product launch of the Travis Scott Air Jordan 1s, and the purchasing app appeared to crash. Tweet content was characterized by complaints around the payment option failing, with many people saying their payment methods were deleted or not working, even though it had worked many times in the past. Based on the tweet commentary, it is likely there was an issue to do with bots clogging the system, as there were many complaints relating to bots. It appears these shoes are highly valuable, and while they were sold by Nike on their release date for $175, these limited edition style shoes are now being on-sold for up to $1,000 by scalpers. So here we have user activity, and so these were the most active users. It doesn't mean they're the most valuable users or the most engaging users, but they are. There's quite a heavy chunk of activity coming from these users. So the highest came in with golf club deals, and most of these are retailers or bloggers. So before moving on, I just wanted to wrap up a few more details. So in the lead up to the launch of the Travis Scott Air Jordans, there was a lot of engagement on the pre-sales sponsored posts, with some of the most liked tweets in the month being images of Clint Frazier, who's an American baseball player, wearing the shoes. The most mentions in this data set were directed to Poshmark app, followed by Nike, eBay, Nike Store, Travis XX, and YouTube. Nike was also tagged in tweets that were sent to Travis Scott and his girlfriend, reality TV celebrity Kylie Jenner, to ask them to speak with Nike about the problem. This appears to be a bad publicity issue, with people feeling a company as wealthy as Nike should have access or appropriate technology protections in place on their apps to ensure genuine customers are getting access to the products for the appropriate price. And something important to note also that I saw just a little bit in the data. When the app crashed, some customers referred to the Adidas retail app as much more helpful. So it may be worth looking at the functionality of this app in terms of who made it and what are the differences with the Nike app. And then we can start to piece together a bit of an improvement plan for our own retail app. Okay, so we've already gone over user activity. So the most active users were primarily coming from retail related posts and bloggers. So there wasn't that much engagement able to be gleaned through Tableau from these. A little bit more interesting is the user visibility data. So that is demonstrating a bit more engagement. So there's going to be more mentions and more retweets coming from these users. And these are more valuable for the Nike brand. So the most visible and therefore influential users associated with this hashtag are Poshmark, followed by Nike, Nike Store, eBay, Travis XX, YouTube, Serena Williams, and Caster 800. So that is the female Olympian sponsored by Nike. And I believe we also have Adidas as well. So here is another one that I put together on activity and visibility. So it shows our most valuable user is the Poshmark app in terms of numbers, but also their visibility within the online community, within the Twitter community. So just to wrap up, so it appears that a high number of here are the hashtags. The most commonly occurring hashtags, aside from Nike, are presented here. So we can see Poshmark is there quite prominently. We have Nike, of course, and Just Do It, Met Gala, Ad, Shop My Closet, Sneakers, Sneakerheads, and yeah, Just Do It, and Nike. And so just to wrap up, so a high number of likes and engagement are closely related to tweets with video, so that's an important one to note. The most popular tweets were inspirational quotes and tweets that leveraged the inspirational sports stars, Olympians, and celebrities sponsored by Nike. However, the app failure on the 11th of May had a negative effect on the Nike brand, with customers feeling like their loyalty had been betrayed by Nike. They felt that Nike should have been able to protect their interests from bots and commercial exploitation. The data shows that it's a customer expectation that a company like Nike will invest in appropriate anti-bot software to protect and enhance customer experience and service. Thank you for your time.